All right, what's going on, everybody? Back again, twice in one day. First off, not here to be a hater, not here to tell people what they should watch, what they should buy, what they should be interested in, what they should like, what they should not like. But let's just put things into perspective. Let's be honest here. Let's be objective. Now, Floyd Mayweather definitely is the most successful combat sports athlete ever. Guy's made more money than anyone. Anything the guy touches in regards to boxing, it turned to gold. No one could generate what this guy could generate. Um, just got to give him credit for that. As far as not only being a phenomenal boxer, this guy was probably the best businessman of all time in the sport of boxing. Whether you want to credit that to Al Heyman, his team, whatever, you still got to give him credit because he was the guy that assembled that team. He was was the guy that orchestrated everything behind the scenes. He was, he was the guy that either signed the fight or didn't sign the fight. So a lot of this stuff, was a result of what he did as well, not just his team. You got to give him some credit for that. But now that he's been retired for a while, we've seen a lot of stunts. The Conor McGregor fight, at first, everyone was laughing at that. But, Eric and I, we started kind of buying into the promotion. We started getting interested into it as the weeks got closer and closer to the fight. We started getting more and more interested in it. We liked how it was being promoted. It was kind of cool the way the whole thing was being promoted. And the curiosity that I had was whether or not Conor McGregor could finish the fight on his feet and if he could actually win rounds. He won some rounds. There's no question about that. But he didn't finish the fight on his feet. And it was quite evident to me that Floyd Mayweather carried him. He just carried him. He played with him. To me, it wasn't a real fight. It was almost choreographed to a degree. I don't think Conor McGregor was in on it, obviously, but Mayweather carried him. He probably could have taken him out in 2 rounds if he really wanted to. What happened in that 10th round could have happened probably in the 2nd round. So it wasn't a real fight, but it was being sold to us. It was being marketed to us as a real fight. And it even went on the record books as a real fight. But technically, he carried him. And he bet on the over. He had someone in his team, because he couldn't actually make the bet. They wouldn't let him. But he had someone on his team make the bet for him, and he bet the over, and he carried McGregor just so he can get paid off. He made a statement that he was robbing the bank, and he did rob the bank. What he kind of did was morally questionable, in my opinion. And then you go on to Tension, the guy the MMA guy that weighed about 125 pounds. So then he has an exhibition with this guy. But once again, it was kind of billed as a real fight. And when you go back and watch that fight, again, this is just my opinion. I can't say this with 100% certainty, but in my opinion, in my mind, I feel as though I'm 100% certain that fight was a joke as well. I think Tension took a dive. It didn't even look like he got hit. He took a dive. So that, to me, that was a fake fight. So now we move on to this rumored fight with Logan Paul. Another guy that's not even a professional anything. He's not a professional anything. He's just a YouTube personality. He's not even a real athlete. At least Conor McGregor was an athlete. Tension was an athlete. They weren't real boxers, but they were athletes. They were combat sport athletes. Logan Paul is a YouTube celebrity. He had one fight, and that's about it. Tension competes at I believe 125 pounds, 118, 125 ish. He's a bantamweight / flyweight. But say again, once again, the MMA weights are different. They're different than the combat sport weights, than the boxing weights. So I guess the point I'm making is these fights are being sold as real fights, but more or less, they're not real fights. So you're taking something like boxing that's pure. It's a pure combat sport. Something that's real. These guys go in there and put their lives on the line. And then you're taking it and you're turning it into something like WWE. Now, if you want to go to WWE like you already did before, go back to WWE. But don't take something that's real, that's something that's pure, and make a circus out of it. Make it fake, like the Conor McGregor fight was to me, it was a fake fight because he carried him. The Tension fight was a fake fight to me because I felt as though Tension took a dive. It was quite obvious that to me, like it took a dive. And all the while up to the promotion, oh, this guy's a tough competitor. This guy's a tough competitor. You're trying to sell these events as real fights, and they're not real fights. And shame on me and shame on anyone else. We bought the events. I didn't buy the Tension event, obviously, but I watched it on YouTube, whatever. But the reason why I think people get upset about this whole situation is you're taking boxing, which is a real combat sport, and you're turning it into WWE. And that's why I think it makes Floyd look bad, and I think Floyd makes the sport look bad when he turns the boxing into a circus act. Because boxing is not meant to be a circus act. If you want to have sports entertainment, because what these fights are, they're basically sports entertainment. And if you want to have a sports entertainment type event, go to WWE. Don't market these as boxing matches, as real boxing matches, because that's why people get upset and they get offended by it. D-Star, go ahead, jump in if you have anything to say about it. I'm going to hear your opinion.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Beeb. How you doing?
Doing good, buddy.
Hey, check it out, man. Do you remember, this has been done before, but you're right. They're trying to sell it like a real fight. You know what I mean? You remember Mosey, he did a little exhibition with Shaq, and De La Hoya did as well. And Tyson used to do exhibitions all the time. Boxers did them all the time. But this is, I just get the sense it's taking over the real boxing. They're becoming bigger events than the real stuff. And that's where I personally have a problem with it. You know what I mean?
Well, then Floyd will say things like, oh, this guy's a tough competitor. I mean, if he has almost give fans of that particular person false hope when he knows it's bullshit. He knew that Conor McGregor had no chance of winning. He knew Tension had no chance of winning.
Right.
And he tries to sell these events as real fights.
Right.
And that's what I think makes the events bullshit. It's like he's trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, and shame on us or shame on me or whatever for kind of buying into the bullshit,
Absolutely. And now the question becomes, what they're going to do in the lead up to this fight? They're going to be saying, hey, but Floyd is a lot better, but Logan Paul's a big dude. He's a lot bigger than Floyd. Is that going to play a big role in the fight? Yeah. And do you think there's a possibility he'll carry him?
Yeah, he'll carry him.
But at the same time, that makes boxing look so bad. Because you're gonna
Well,
have ignorant people that believe, oh, Logan Paul's hanging in there with Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean?
well, you have to ask yourself this question. Floyd's got the promotional company. Supposedly, he's got a lot going on outside of boxing in terms of businesses. He says he's made smart investments. What is the need to keep doing these sideshow events? It just makes him look like he's thirsty. You have to question what is the
Right.
reason behind all this stuff.
I mean, I think he misses the limelight. It's what I think.
You think he's an attention whore? Is that what it is?
Oh, I think everybody knows that. Like everyone knows. Like how many Gervonta Davis press conferences have turned about himself?
Yeah,
Where he's talking about himself and what he did. Like he goes over. It's if he just said it like right away and just like, hey man, you guys know what I accomplished. Monetarily in the sport. I want Gervonta Davis to do it. No, he'll go like on a 10-minute spill about what he did and how he did it and all the haters and Top Rank didn't believe in him and he went and did it himself. And he goes on this long like tirade talking about Floyd Mayweather Jr. sometimes to the point where he's talking in the third person about Floyd. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, nobody thought Floyd Mayweather Jr. was going to be a big star, but I became a big star and I did it this and that way. And then he'll finally at the end say, I want Tank Davis to, do the same or whatever, right?
yeah.
Everything becomes about him. I remember he had an interview. I forget who did the interview, but the question started with, hey, what do you think where boxing is right now? Like, do you think it's in a good place? You think it can get better? You think it's in a bad place? And he starts the question by talking about himself. He's like, well, we all know Floyd. I mean, I'm the face of boxing and I accomplished so much and I sold so much pay-per-view and look at what I did in this fight and that fight. And he doesn't answer the question because it's all about him. He kind of is a narcissist the more you think about it.
He's very much so a narcissist. He's probably one of the biggest narcissists I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, how are you going to have Mayweather Promotions, quote unquote, on the banner of Wilder versus Ortiz, the second fight, right? And I get it that really behind the scenes, the one that got it done was Al Heyman. We all know that. We all know the promotional outfit is just there like ceremonially, so there's no issues with the Ali Act. I get all that, right? Before somebody gets on here, tries to act smart, we know that. But then do the ceremonial shit. Like Floyd could have helped that event just with one tweet. He has like 1 million followers, bro.
This is just my opinion, and again, I have no evidence of this, but to me, it's almost like he's trying to hold these guys back because he doesn't want someone to surpass him. He doesn't want anyone to he doesn't really want to pass that torch to anybody.
So he's not telling the truth when he says, "Oh, I want Gervonta Davis to surpass me." And
I don't think so, because look at this now. All the other fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard, passed the torch to De La Hoya. De La Hoya passed the torch, to Floyd Mayweather, so to speak. But Floyd Mayweather, now that it's time to pass the torch to Canelo, all Floyd Mayweather's done is hate on Canelo, talk shit about Canelo. I mean, Canelo's the man now. Like, give him the respect, show him the props.
But not only that, Beeb, I mean, he's so narcissistic, he doesn't even understand that the more you praise Canelo, the more you remind people, right, how good Canelo is.
It makes him better. Yeah.
It makes him look good. That's one of the finest, like we always talk about this, like wins that age well. This is like literally the definition of one.
Yeah, I would say outside of the Corrales victory, I put Canelo up there with probably his second best victory of all time, in my opinion.
I got to put Canelo first. You know why? Because Corrales was a one division guy. I mean, Canelo's done more than Corrales.
Well, here's the thing. Corrales was a 3-1 favorite over Mayweather, and he was like, when you saw him next to Mayweather, he was like twice his size. But you could make an argument either way. I'm not gonna say you're wrong.
I see what you mean. Like, not only that, the way he beat him, right? Like the way he was knocking him down.
That was like the first time in that I know of that Floyd Mayweather was ever an underdog in a fight.
Yeah.
that I can remember. I could be wrong, but I've
Yeah,
never.
yeah. Diego had just finished beating Garcia, or Robert Garcia. You know what I mean? Who was that a pretty
Yeah,
good lightweight in his time? That's
Garcia was a damn good fighter too. He was a damn good
yeah,
fighter.
and you could
People
tell. I mean, look how good of a trainer he is. You know what I mean? But
people forget how
Diego was.
good he was. He was really good.
But I gotta say, man, I mean, the Canelo win hasn't even finished aging yet.
No,
If Canelo keeps more and more accomplishments, who knows how that, dude? That is by far the best win, in my opinion, since the Corrales fight. It's debatable, both,
yeah.
but yeah, it's big. The Maidana fight we didn't really know because Maidana never fought again. You know what I mean?
I had someone bet me
Wow.
that Canelo was going to win, and they didn't pay me, and they lied, and they said, "Oh yeah, I didn't know it was going to be a catch weight." Blah 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 blah. That's bullshit. I got stiffed. I got stiffed.
No, why didn't he pull out the day of the weight then? Why didn't he say, you know what, babe, never mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got tipped by a lot of McGregor fans too, and that comment that says Conor Floyd fight was better than the Canelo Chavez fight. It was a bigger fight in terms of the public, but look, man, Chavez Jr., believe it or not, had a better shot against Canelo than McGregor did against Floyd. Honestly, that's my opinion. But
I don't think anyone bought the Floyd Conor fight thinking this is going to be a barn burner of a fight. Oh, I don't know who's going to win this fight. I think everybody bought that event because they wanted to see if Conor could even compete, if Conor could even win. People were saying, I'm just curious to see if Conor McGregor could even win people were saying to me, I'm just, curious to see if Conor McGregor could even win a round or if he can even finish the fight. Now, of course, there's those ridiculous MMA fans that are Conor fans, but
you had I mean, maybe I'm throwing the word respectable out too much, but guys that commentate in MMA, like confidently saying that McGregor should.
But no boxing person like Joe Rogan said. Joe Rogan said that Conor McGregor had no shot.
Right.
And he's probably the most objective guy that you're going to ever talk to in MMA. And even Chael Sonnen, another MMA guy who I don't agree with a lot of times.
He kind of like the thing with Sonnen. I mean, he came out and he acted like, "Oh, boxing's not a real sport." I mean, how could he get out of the first round?
But he didn't believe that Conor had a chance of winning that fight. The stupid thing that he tried to do was he tried to legitimize Conor's performance like Floyd didn't carry Conor. Everyone can watch and see that Floyd carried Conor. So once again, it's like you're taking something that's supposed to be real that you're trying to sell as real,
right?
And you're making it fake. Like you carried Conor, tension took a dive, in my opinion. What theatrics are you going to pull against Logan Paul? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Dude, the tension fight made no sense to me, to be honest.
The guy weighed 125 pounds. Yeah, weighed him by 25 pounds.
That kid wouldn't last against Inoue in the ring. You know what I mean? What makes people think he would last with Floyd Mayweather? Even though
the kid was 21 years old, he weighed 125 pounds.
Right.
What was the novelty in that fight?
There wasn't none.
Really.
There were, the best post fight was from Kenny Florian. I don't know if you ever saw it. He talked about the Floyd Conor fight. He said they was a little excited at first, but then he kind of got a little quiet. He kind of knew what Floyd was doing after the third round.
He knew he was carrying him. He knew it.
Yeah, it was something, man. But Floyd never fights like that too. He never comes forward with the hands up like that. It was one of the most bizarre things. He didn't give a shit. I was gonna come forward, just throw right hands, and he beat him that way.
Did you see the clip? It was on Twitter when Conor threw a jab at Floyd, and Floyd just stood there like this and let him hit him with the jab, and he didn't even blink his eyes, and it didn't even jar him at all. That was like the
Yeah.
most. That was like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Connor just really had no power. He landed that one shot against what was that guy there in MMA, the guy he knocked out in one round?
Well, oh man, Aldo, but Aldo
Aldo.
came in like in the air, like you know what I mean?
Like Aldo jumped into the punch practically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was like the perfect storm. I don't think Connor is a one punch guy. You know, I really
No, he's
don't.
not. Not for boxing anyway. I mean,
No.
it's the reality is there's just more to it. But then, like, dude, I gotta be honest with you. At least Connor was a fighter, though.
Yeah.
It may have been from a different form of combat, but he was still a fighter. He still had an amateur background in boxing, by the way. You know, it's like he still had something there. What Logan Paul doesn't have anything, dude. Like
Well,
this is ridiculous.
Well, hopefully this is a rumor. You know what? Floyd likes to do things like he'll put like feelers out there. He'll leak stuff to see how people react to it, to see if people are going to be reacting positively to it or negatively to it. And so far, there's a lot of negativity.
Why does all this come out? Like I don't know if you've noticed it. I noticed patterns in people, dude. Like
Yeah.
Floyd always puts news like this out when there's like this big boxing event about to happen.
Yeah.
It always happens.
Yeah.
Like he wants to steal the thunder somehow.
Yeah.
You know, no different than once in a while they'll do it in football, right before, like right after someone wins the Super Bowl. Jerry Jones comes out and says they signed so and so, like to try and steal the thunder, whatever it is, right? Like I just get this feeling like, dude, like chill out, dude. Like why not promote what's out there right now? If you're really gonna be a promoter, if you really want to do that, if you want to show that I'm not like Bob Arum and all the guys he complains about, then go out there and like help put the names. Like you don't have
Like
to promote Top Rank, but what about the PBC guys? You know,
he's doing nothing to advance the sport.
right?
Nothing. Doing nothing to promote the sport positively. He's doing nothing. And it seems like he's holding his own fighters back. He should be pushing his fighters, putting them out there more. A lot of his fighters, they're not active. They don't get the fights that they should be getting. And you see other guys like on Top Rank and even on the Zone, these guys are getting quality fights, and his fighters they're getting dicked around.
Yeah.
What about Badu Jack? When was the last time he fought?
Yep.
All these guys. Brian, what's up, brother? What you think of this nonsense? I can't hear him. I can't hear you, brother. Go back. What were you going to say, D-Star?
I can't hear him.
Yeah, I couldn't hear him. What were you going to say?
I think I finished my point actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and let's talk about the Tyson Jones thing, because at least those two guys are real fighters. Number one. Number two, they're both in the same age group. It's not like one's young and one's old. So at least that fight is an even matchup. You know what I mean? It's a matchup where you could possibly say who's going to win that fight. I think I'm curious to see if it's really going to be an exhibition. Now, here's the intrigue about that one: is it really going to be an exhibition, or are these guys really going to fight? There's no head.
Yeah.
There's no headgear. There's 12-ounce gloves instead of 16. Obviously, it's not 10, but 12-ounce ain't 16-ounce. Both guys are kind of talking it up. So who knows what's gonna? You're in there with a guy like Tyson, who's so unpredictable and so volatile. So there is some intrigue to that matchup, and
right.
And obviously there's concern because both guys are old. Are they going to get hurt? Whatever. But at least both guys are in the same age group. Both guys have been out of the ring a while. Tyson obviously has been out longer than Jones. But, both guys were heavyweights. Both guys were heavyweight champions. So at least there's some sort of legitimacy to that fight. Some of these events that Floyd put on, they're just not legitimate events.
Well, I mean, how serious? Like once in a while, he'll start doing something, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, look what Floyd's doing!" Like he started like working the mitts with Devin Haney and like with some fighters in the gym. But how long did that last, really?
Why doesn't he focus more on his promotional company? Why doesn't he become why doesn't he train fighters? Why doesn't he do things to help other people? Why is it always in the end have to come back to him? Why?
Well, let me ask you this, Beep. If Mayweather came out yesterday or tomorrow, right,
Yeah.
and just announced, I'm gonna come back and I want Chance Crawford in the ring, right? I'm gonna beat Crawford for that belt, whatever. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
say he's #1 pound for pound. I'm gonna come back just for that fight, and then I'm done.
Yep.
Like the reality is, I mean, I hate to say this, but I don't. If it does better, it's not by much than the Logan Paul fight does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we know a fight with Crawford. I mean, he would probably be the underdog in that fight right now.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean?
I would say so, yeah.
But think about how big that would be, if, at least for boxing fans. Like I would love that fight. Like if he came back to do that, I'd be like, wow. Now he's not going to do that. But my point is, why does he do the McGregor Logan Paul stuff? Because he probably sells either the same or probably more than he would than if he came back to fight Crawford. And that's the state we are in right now. You know, in not just boxing but our culture. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you're going to retire, stay retired. These sideshow events are just they're kind of starting to make him look bad now. Now enough is enough. When can you just say I'm going to walk away and not even be involved in this nonsense anymore? Let me see if Brian, you got your sound together now, brother? I still can't hear you, Brian. I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, I can't hear you. Yeah. All right. For some reason, Brian's got some sound issues, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. At what point can you fully walk away? That's the
Right,
thing.
right.
You have to ask yourself how
Well,
much.
I
Like,
mean, we say that, B, but like, how much did he make for the McGregor fight?
like 100 million or something.
Yeah, like we say, hey, just stay retired, stay away. But I mean, he's making $100 million. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Got 9 million. He got 9 million for that tension thing. You know what I'm saying?
that's like nothing, bro. He probably didn't pay a dime over there either. Like, they probably paid all the expenses. They paid it for him: the flight, the hotel, 5-star, and you leave with all that money. You know, like it's easy money. You know, the tension fight. I mean, it was during the day. You know, I didn't even get to watch it live. Everyone kind of knew what was going to happen already, anyway.
I watched it like at 5 in the morning.
God damn. Well,
It
did
was
you really believe this tension guy was going to do anything to Floyd?
no.
You know, like, I don't know. Plus, I don't know.
Well,
I heard you say you thought he
took a dive.
took a dive.
Yeah, go back and watch it. Looks like he took a dive, bro. A lot of
Yeah.
people, a lot of people were saying it too. Then I had a lot of people yelling at me, "Oh, that was legitimate." Blah, blah, blah. No, he took it. Go back and go search it on YouTube and go back and watch it. It was, oh my god, it was so fake, bro. It was so fake. It looked horrible. It looked real bad.
Yeah,
It looked real
it,
bad.
it was pretty bad. You're right.
And then
'Cause I
watch
do
it.
remember, like, it was kind of dramatic, right? The way he would like drop and get back up and then drop. It was just like it was like over the top.
It looked like WWE, bro. He was overselling it, bro. Floyd like tapped him in the fucking stomach, and
Yeah.
he was like grabbing his stomach, kicking his feet and shit.
Now let me ask you this: do you think it was just like a show, like WWE style, or do you think this guy was like, you know what, I'm not gonna stand here and take this ass beating?
No, I think it was choreographed, bro. I think they knew that was gonna happen, and that was it.
Man, well, so they're in Japan, dude. You know they will try to do shit in pride and stuff. In MMA.
A lot of stuff over there is fixed in Japan
Yeah.
too, bro. A lot of shit. A lot of fake stuff going on over in Japan. A lot of fixed fights.
Like-
Didn't they say some of those pride fights were fixed too? Or no?
Well, here's the deal. Like, you tell me, right? They approached Rampage and they told them, it's literally what they told them. Hey, Rampage, you know, we're still going to pay you what you said. Hey, but you have an opportunity to make more money. If you lose by submission, you'll make more money.
That's fixed.
And he told them, well, what if I win by submission? You're still going to make the same.
There we go.
Now they never told him, "Hey, we want you to throw the fight." You know what I mean? But I mean, come on.
They implied it.
Yeah, they implied it hard. Yeah, but yeah, that's according to Rampage. I mean, that is his version of events. But I mean, Sakuraba supposedly choked him out over there. So I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. So
Sakuraba like 2 weight class below this dude. I mean, come on.
there, there's a lot of funny business going on over there when it comes to combat sports. I mean,
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying,
Now, do you think the boxing's straight though? Because they do boxing over there. You know, what I mean, I never really seen anything fishy in boxing.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'd have to judging by what I've seen over the years, I'd have to say the boxing seems to be legitimate to me. But
Yeah,
some of the other stuff, I don't know.
because in a weird way, like Japan is kind of, it's less circus. It's less of a circus. It's treated less as a circus over there. You know what I mean? They treat it really legit, like it's a sport. And over here, we're starting to turn it into a circus. You know?
Yeah, a lot of these events that are kind of becoming ridiculous now. A lot of the celebrity stuff, and I think because now there's not much going on, so now this is the perfect climate to have
Yeah,
these types of events. I think that's what you said too as well.
yeah.
And all it's going to do is push boxing,
I'm not even gonna lie though. Like, I kind of, what really got me thinking about that was Ari the Rugged Man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Kind of, I was like, you know what, he's right. And,
yeah.
and we kind of all knew it. It's just that he kind of expressed it, and now it's kind of like,
I forgot he said that too. You're right.
yeah, yeah.
He applied the same thing. So now, like, boxing is kind of in a weak place right now. So now is the perfect time for all these used to be's coming back now.
No, no, no. Let me ask you this, because people will say, Beep, they'll say, because boxing's at a low place right now, right?
Yes.
Now it's easy to say that now because we're coming off this COVID thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But let me say this: when boxing was at its height, when Ali was a champion, I mean, Ali was doing stuff like this too.
Yeah, but he fought Antonio Inoki. He went to the WWE and actually did it. It wasn't like he did a fake fight. Then you can
Well,
argue George Foreman fought those 5 guys in one night. But again, those were still legitimate boxers. They weren't fake fighters.
now let me ask you: what was it like? An understanding of, hey, we're just having fun tonight. This isn't like, we're not going to take ourselves serious today. Where like the McGregor Mayweather thing, I did feel like everyone was taking it serious.
Look at all those naive MMA fans that put that. Here's the thing. Look at all those people that actually bet on McGregor. Those MMA
Many haven't paid me, bro.
You know?
People always say like, "Hey, just bet somebody straight up. You don't have to worry about the odds and all that." Yeah, well, you got to worry about people paying you back.
Yeah, I don't take bets. Like I don't do those bets anymore. I got stiffed one time and I said, fuck it. You know what the sad part about it is? The kid that stiffed me, I paid him twice.
Wow.
I paid the kid twice and he stiffed me.
I should air him out, bro. Shit.
And then you know what he did? Then he deleted his Facebook, deleted everything.
For how much? How much money was this that he deleted everything?
You know who it was? Remember that guy that used to call in on Rope Radio? The guy.
There's a lot of guys.
No, South Carolina. Remember that guy, South Carolina?
That's him?
He bet me. He stiffed me.
Doesn't it still call once in a while?
I don't even know. I think he dropped off the face of the earth.
But how much money are we talking?
I paid him one time. I paid him $200. I used to make $200 bets with him.
Right. Okay.
Not crazy money, but decent money.
Okay, but how much did he owe you? 200?
200, yeah. He wouldn't pay me.
I mean, let me ask you this: if he would have come to you and be like, "Man, let me make it in payments," would you have said?
I would have definitely accepted it.
What's the I can't believe he couldn't work it out. That's crazy.
I would have put him on a $20 a month payment plan, and I would have been happy with it.
I pay my StreamYard for the next 10 months.
That's it. Yeah, but he stopped calling in. He stopped calling into Rope Radio. He just dropped off the face of the earth. Yeah. I aired him out on Facebook, and then he deleted his Facebook.
So there was a dude, right, that he bet me it was $80 for the Conor McGregor fight, and with my ex, like we were talking to him and his girl, whatever, and we were talking boxing, and then he got me on Facebook, and so anyway, he was telling everybody McGregor's gonna knock out Mayweather, right?
Oh Jesus!
And he's like, I'll bet you that he's gonna knock him out, not just win, like knock him out cold. You know what I mean? And I said, sure, I'll take that bet. And I told him, don't worry, like if McGregor wins the decision, you still win though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just bet straight up. Okay. So he didn't pay me. And he always had like a reason not to pay me. You know what I mean? And or he'll be like, yo, I'm in town. I got like 15 minutes. I gotta take off, but come to the Valero at this place. That's just like 30 minutes from my house, dude. You know what I mean?
But that was a great bet for you because Mayweather was like a what? I think like a 4-1 favorite.
Yeah.
And you're betting the dude straight up. You got even odds.
Yeah, but this dude, here's what I did. He posted something on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And I put in the bottom, on the comments, I put, yo, bro, you got to pay me my money, dude. It's been like 7 months. You haven't paid me. And he messaged me right on the side. And the dude's like, hey, man, you can't be posting that. It makes me look bad. And like, dude, well, I should make you look bad.
You make yourself look bad by not paying me.
Yeah, then he just, I don't know, man, I ended up blocking him. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this dude.
Freaking stiff.
A lot of McGregor fans, stiff people, bro. That crazy?
Ridiculous.
Can't believe it. There was a dude that wanted to pay me $5,000 on that fight. And I was like, okay. But I told him, like, we're going to have to do, like, some type of, what the hell do you call it? Like you kind of give the money to, like, either a neutral person or a neutral entity.
Yeah,
like
you
a little
need like
escrow.
You need like an arbitrator.
Yeah. So, like, let's do it, but we got to do it off. Like, and he never did it. Like, it was all a bunch of talk, bro. For a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Like, you know what it was? Like, me, I'm not a very religious guy, right? So I remember I did a video and I said, dude, this is like science versus religion. All these people want to believe that McGregor's, Magic Mike or whatever they were calling him. I'm like, dude, this is just like I believe in gravity. I believe Floyd's going to beat this dude. Like, it wasn't even that, that serious to me. Now, the question is, will Floyd knock out Logan Paul?
Yes.
Well, how many rounds would it be? That's the other question. This dude can't go fucking 12 rounds. You know what I mean? Like 10, maybe 8 rounds, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how this thing would be structured. I'm just curious to see how the whole thing would be structured.
Like, let's say they go 6 rounds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how much energy and how many punches can Floyd throw with just 6 rounds? Like, if he knows mentally, I just got to do this for 6 rounds, I mean, the type of punishment he can unleash on the dude is not even funny, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's something people need to think about, like, in my opinion. Yeah. Kylie King said his mic is tripping. You're not sure. When you guys try to come in, it always gives you, like, the little test thing. Like, I always test your mic. It'll show you the little green light. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You guys could always check that out.
Yeah. Let me see if he can get on now.
Sure.
All right. Can you talk now, Kelly?
Mic check.
Yeah, we got you.
What's happening? Finally.
What's happening, brother?
Man, my bad, man. My mic tripping. I don't know. I had to restart my phone. I'm like, damn. But yeah. So what's this, a rumor or is this official?
It's a rumor, man.
Okay. Because I was hearing about it. I don't know to take it serious or not, but this is just like how it started with the McGregor, though, right? Started a rumor.
Like I said, he likes to put feelers out there and kind of have people floated out there on his behalf to see how the public's going to react to it. And I don't know, like, I don't think anyone is going to be excited about this. I don't think anyone's going to be like, "Oh, wow, man, this is cool." There's not. I don't think there's going to be any curiosity factor for this fight.
You
This
don't
one,
think so?
yeah, this one. I mean,
I don't
I'll,
know, man.
I
This
don't think I would watch
Mayweather
it
is a great
live.
salesman
I don't.
because
Yeah, he
everything
is. He
this
is.
dude, everything we're talking about when you guys are talking, I'm like, man, this dude is he's just a businessman. That's all. He's just gonna capitalize. It's about capitalism. You know what I'm saying? He's a good businessman. Uh, you know, I wouldn't doubt if it happens. I'm pretty sure it might happen. I mean, they
Now,
already saying this dude got this massive fan base.
yeah, he does. He does. Now, I buy everything, but I think this may be the one time that I don't buy. This may be the one
Yeah,
time that I
I
haven't.
definitely wouldn't get this bullshit. That's for sure.
I'll
Well,
find
But
a way to. I'll
but
find a
well,
way to
what if
watch it
it's a
though.
good undercard? What if they give you like a really good boxing undercard?
they wouldn't. It's no
Um,
way.
Yeah.
I don't even see that.
it would have to be a
I don't even
really good
see it.
undercard. It would have to be a really good undercard for
But
me to
that
buy
means
it.
you gotta pay somebody. Ain't nobody gonna be getting paid but the dude, Logan Paul and Mayweather. That's it, man. All the
Yeah,
money going to them. All the attention going to them. Think about
yeah,
it. Now look,
it'd be crazy.
the thing
Yeah.
is, man, Mayweather is just a good salesman. This dude can fight an actor with no boxing experience, an actor. You know what I'm saying? Brad Pitt. People gonna buy that shit because the dude can sell, man. He's a good salesman. When they announced that, I can't even say the dude name. What's his name? The last dude he fought.
Tension.
Yeah, yeah. I was hot. Personally, I was like, as a boxing fan, I'm mad. I'm like, hold up, man. This ain't even a real fight. But people started getting on my helmet. They said they started getting on my helmet, and they was like, man, fuck you, man. Let him get his money. That's what they started banging on me and everything. And
But,
I'm like,
but, here,
okay, well,
but
let him
going
get
back
his money.
going back to what I said before, you're taking boxing, which is one of the purest art forms of combat, and you're making like a mockery of it by trying to make it a core. It's almost like these events are choreographed WWE style, and
Right,
that's not what boxing is supposed to be. That's why people get offended. Now you could sit there and say, "Well, you don't have to watch, you don't have to buy," but it makes the sport that we love so much look bad. Like at what point do we say enough is enough? Like this is like beyond the point that should be gone that we should go to. This is way past the
right.
point of no return with this fight. If this they're
That's
gonna
how I
go
feel
this,
too.
yeah, this is like the biggest pimping myself out type job that he's ever done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's like this. Like nobody got mad when they went to WWE and did that thing with the Big Show because everybody
No,
knew it was a show, right?
but
Like that's where you go if you want to make a show, but don't try to sell it as like a real
boxing
boxing fight.
boxing is not sports entertainment. People die in there, man. This is real shit.
Now, what makes this crazy to me is that as bad as the McGregor thing was, at least McGregor's a fighter. Okay,
Like I said, yeah.
I mean this dude. Like, I mean Logan Paul. Come on, like what's that? Is he gonna box Brad
But
Pitt
I
next?
mean, they're gonna use the same thing they use with everything. He got a fan base. He got a
Yeah.
fan base. Isn't that what they say? He got a fan base. He been in the ring. So what? Let them get their money. Because it's all gonna be about money, right? Because that's what
Right.
everything's about. Everybody gonna sell out to the dollar. It don't matter about no ethics, morals, whatever. Let them get paid. Because
Like, this is what
everything
Floyd
else goes
knows,
out the
bro.
window as long as they got the money.
Like this is the blueprint, and this is how they got us with the McGregor situation. And I didn't realize it till it was over, But like I got caught up in it, but not in like I wasn't pumping up the fight. I was like just shredding MMA fans online and doing long videos about it, like making fun of them because they think McGregor's gonna win, and I got caught up on it. So what happens is this is what will happen. They'll make the fight official. Everybody's gonna hate it. Logan Paul delusional fans are gonna come out and say Floyd's too little. We cannot fuck with Logan Paul. Then
They're gonna
boxing fans,
sell that shit.
yeah, boxing fans are gonna get mad at hearing that because that's bullshit and be like, no, what are you talking about? Boxing fans are gonna get disrespected by a lot of these Logan Paul fans, and then that's where it's gonna be like, oh, you wait and see. Floyd's gonna beat the shit out of this dude, and then we get caught up in this shit. That's Floyd knows that's gonna happen. That's what
Yeah.
happened in the McGregor fight. And then like they're hugging and shit in the post fight press conference, like, man, these motherfuckers pulled the biggest heist. You know?
Right. But then let's look at something else, because this is where I get to scratch in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. How can a fight, because let's be honest, these dudes, if they want to, I think they could sell it. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I don't know if it's a rumor. If they do make it official, they could sell something like this and make a gang of money, and probably more money, and get more attention than a real boxing match. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I be scratching my head, is how those kind of fights can get more attention than the real fights in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Because what's been the highest pay-per-view fight in
Pacquiao
boxing?
Mayweather.
And then where does McGregor and Mayweather fit in?
It's just like 200,000 or 300,000 below it. Like that's it.
It's right there.
Yeah.
That's where I get to scratching my head. But is that a problem with Mayweather doing? I don't think so. I think it's maybe a problem with boxing. I mean, shouldn't the real fights be selling like this too? You know what I'm saying?
No, but
it just don't make sense.
It's a blueprint. It's Floyd knows the boxing fans are going to complain when we announce it, but then they're going to be defending like boxing's honor against these ignorant people. You know what I mean? And it's like he kind of knows that's what it is. And then he made more money fighting McGregor, I believe, because McGregor didn't get the cut Manny Pacquiao got. You know what I mean? Like he got like a smaller cut than Pacquiao. You know, so he knows like Paul's a big name, but he's not going to get that big of a cut. But like, I'll ask you the same question I asked Beeb a little bit ago. You know what I mean? Is if Mayweather came back and fought Crawford, that would be huge. Like we all know, like legacy wise, that would be a big fight for Floyd. He'd probably be an underdog at this point. But I don't think it would sell as much as the Logan Paul fight. Like more boxing fans will buy into it. We'll be excited for that. We know it's some real shit. It might do like 2 million buys or something like that, but it ain't gonna do no fucking 4 million.
Well, will it be on pay-per-view or will it be on DAZN? That's another question.
Well, I don't know. Probably pay-per-view.
You think so?
Yeah, DAZN's not gonna pay Floyd 100 million.
Unless DAZN, remember what Mayweather said, he don't fight on no app.
That's true too.
Yeah, they would have to give him a lot of money, bro.
No, because I know DAZN's been interested in these types of celebrity type matchups. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They've been floating this out there for a lot of fighters.
But then, can DAZN, can they turn it into a pay-per-view? You know what I'm saying? Because I think that would be the only way Mayweather would be on board. But you know what? Maybe a fat guarantee contract will get him right on board too. You know.
Shit.
Here's the thing with DAZN. I think eventually, I think D-Style mentioned this before, and I kind of think he's right. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think DAZN's eventually going to start having some of these events as pay-per-views, sort of like what ESPN did.
Right.
I don't think they're going to continue to have this model forever. They already raised their price once. At some point, they're going to have certain fights, which I believe they'll label them as premium fights, and those are the ones that they'll charge probably $70 for.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they know what's up for sure.
Because they're gonna have to adapt. Because I don't see how they're turning up. They're making any headway here in the United States. I just don't. A lot of people don't have the app. A lot of people that I know don't have the app. Right. I just don't think the app is popular here in the United States. I don't think they got the subscribers that they thought they were going to get. They made these signings and they thought that these signings would have a major impact on their subscriber base. I don't think it panned out the way they believed and thought it would. I just don't.
It didn't. You know how you know, dude? Like, look, people got to be delusional if they believe that you're going to pay less to watch boxing, right? You're going to get more boxing, and the boxers are going to get paid more than ever, like guarantees. Like, you're out of your mind. Like, if you think like you could, like, for one fight, Mikey Garcia gets paid, I think, what did he get, like $7 million for the Vargas fight?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's. I mean, look, I'm not mad at Mikey. Hey, get your money, but as a consumer, right? I wonder to myself, like $7 million, dude. Like, really? But that's not even what he paid Vargas and the undercard fighters. That's just one dude. That's probably not going to come back to your app. You know, it's we have to understand that if fighters are going to be making that, we can't be paying like $9.99 a month. Like they got to make money. Yeah, they're not in it to lose money. I mean, that's the way I see it with the app, personally. Of course, everybody wants to pay less. The argument has never been about that, but it's about being realistic. And how many fights has the Zone given you guys? Just count them in one hand. How many fights has the Zone put out there that would have done more than 1 million buys if they were on pay-per-view? How many of those fights have they done?
None.
So are they really are they really killing pay-per-view and making it more affordable for fans to get the big mega fights? Are they really doing that? No.
Probably one fight may have been close to 1 million, and that would have been the Joshua Ruiz rematch. Maybe, but not even that, I don't think would have done 1 million in the United States.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Probably not. Maybe 700,000 or 800,000. I don't know. 600. I don't know. Joshua's just not known.
Right.
If Joshua came over here and just marketed himself, like he was doing pretty well marketing himself. I think he was on the Breakfast Club. I think he was on Sway in the Morning. I think he was on a couple of those the late night shows. I think if he just kept stuck with it and really kind of promoted himself and tried to make a name for himself over here, I think he would have done well.
You know what he should have done? Anthony Joshua should have came back to the United States to do that rematch.
I believe so.
Back in New York. He should have redid it and he would have won. You know what I'm saying? And then he would have got all the attention would have been in the US. You know what I'm saying? He passed up that. I think he passed it up.
Like, look what Fury's done. Look what he's been able to do.
Right.
Promoting himself.
He making a home in Vegas, ain't he?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. and that move to the WWE was a beautiful move, bro.
Yeah, he making some moves.
Hey, he's calling out that WWE champion right now, Furious. Like, that guy is making so many plans. It's crazy.
He'll go back there. I think he'll go back.
You believe so?
You know, he's making good cash.
I mean, we definitely got to tie Wilder to Fury, right? He's doing pretty good.
Well, at least we got a good fight tonight.
Definitely.
We got Lubin versus Gachet. That's going to be a really fun fight to watch tonight. I think that's going to be a great fight.
I got Lubin.
Yeah, me too. I'm going for him.
I got Gachet in that one, to be honest.
And really quick about your point about Wilder. Yeah, man, I still hear people today like, oh, he made a big mistake not signing with the Zone. Dude, I think he did really good for himself. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those two Fury fights.
Good.
He made more money. He made more money not signing with the Zone.
Yeah.
Just that fight this year, that was a good thing that they fought early in the year before the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? They got some money to sit on.
I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Joshua's on a fight to fight. So why would Wilder sign without having Joshua sign too?
Right.
There would have been no guarantee that Joshua fight would happen. And plus, Joshua lost. Yeah,
and then what would happen? Just like the Canelo situation. Like there'll be Wilder would be like, "Well, I'll fight somebody else." Nah, but you got to take a pay cut. And can you imagine the lawsuit then? Like
they're already trying to screw Canelo over. They don't think they would have tried to screw freaking Wilder over too?
Yeah, because it was the same game plan, right? It was like, what were people telling us, right? Oh, you watch the Gennady Golovkin Canelo fight will happen. That's why they got him in there, you dummy. Like, you know, what happened? Well, what happened to that theory? Like, yes, they will make it happen. he will fight Joshua on the zone and all this crap, man.
Never
The
happened.
zone messed up when they made a deal with Eddie Hearn, right? And it didn't include the UK. Like, how are you going to let Sky have the rights to the fights in the UK for these fighters that are more popular in the UK than the US? You know, like, it would have made more sense to them if they had the rights, you know, in both locations. That's just my opinion.
And then he was talking about how the Joshua fight had to be in the UK, but meanwhile he took all his fighters over to the United States to fight because, quote unquote, there's more money in the United States. So if
Right.
there's more money in the United States, then why would you not want Wilder versus Joshua in the United States? Then it makes no sense. This guy makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you guys think, like, what if we could go back in time, right? If you could tell the zone one thing, like, hey, don't do this, whatever it is. Like, mine is, don't reveal your budget to anybody, right? Confidential, 101, right? Period. That's what I would tell them. Like, what would you tell them, B?
My thing would have been don't sign these guys for such long contracts, like 11 fights. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen in 11 fights? Then you took a guy like Golovkin, who's like going to be 50 soon, and signed him to 6 fights. Like, what are you thinking? And then you sign this deal with Hearn, and you don't even lock up Joshua for any fights. You put that guy on a fight to fight.
The heavyweight champion of the world, by the way.
You should at least try to get him for like 3 or 4 fights. You know, at least get him for 3 fights, right? That's a year and a half, and then you can negotiate after that. But why would you sign a fighter to 11 fights? If you notice, Showtime, Fox, no other ESPN, nobody's like signing. No network is signing. Like, the networks are basically signing with the promoters. They're not doing like individual fights with you know, they're not doing contracts with fighters. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's the big thing right there. You know what I mean? Like, they shouldn't have done the long term.
And that's why Floyd left HBO, because HBO was like, nah, man, we're not doing long-term deals anymore. We already got burned doing that.
Then they used to call them slave contracts.
Something like that. I've heard Floyd say stuff like that before, but you know, that's the thing. Like, you don't, why would you sign Golovkin, who's at the tail end of his career? Why would you sign him for 6 fights, bro? 6 fights.
You know what it is? They wanted that Canelo Golovkin fight. You know,
But
that's what it was.
6 fights, and then you got Canelo for 11 fights. Now you're and look what's happened. You don't think they regret that? You don't think they regret signing Canelo now?
Yeah, why did they just do this? Well, why didn't they just offer, like, both guys money for that one fight?
Well,
we're starting an app. You guys want to fight a third time?
At the very least, sign them to 2 or 3 fights. I could see maybe 3 fights tops, you know? But you sign one guy to 6 fights, one guy to 11 fights. And then you got the heavyweight champion of the world. You're dealing with his promoter. You're giving him all this money, and he can't even say, "Hey, all right, we'll lock Joshua in for 3 fights." Really? Like, come on, bro. Come on. Got this guy on a fight to fight.
But boxing, it really isn't made for like this. These type of deals make sense for, like, you know, you got a star quarterback. You're like, yo, this
like
guy,
the NBA or something.
Yeah, like Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, if you're the Chiefs, you're like, yeah, we want to keep this dude. You know what I mean? So let's lock him in for the next 6-7 years or whatever.
Right.
That makes sense. Like, you know, because he's with your franchise. He's gonna play the 16 games. You don't have to negotiate games with him. Like, a fighter though, like an NBA or quarterback type, you know, or NFL, I should say, type, you know, long-term contract in boxing, it just isn't really a winning formula. You know, I question, like, did Showtime really make money with Floyd's, what was it, a 6-fight contract?
6-fight deal.
6-fight, like this, like, did they really make money? I don't think they made money off of the Guerrero fight. the Canelo fight definitely maybe made up the difference, and maybe that one did. I don't know how much. Like,
Well, think
am I down
about
a-
this. Think about
yeah.
this. You had the Canelo fight, you had the Pacquiao fight, and you had the McGregor fight. Those fights, for,
Well, he got the McGregor fight as a free agent, though. He was done with his contract with the Berto fight.
I understand that, but that this Showtime is still the pay per view arm for that fight.
I
Right.
mean, the
So,
one fight, the Pacquiao and Mayweather, that was it. Bam. Call it
Like,
a day.
I
But
think
that fight, like, look at how much they had to pay these guys, right? They took the majority of the money, right? So, like, how much of that profit did it really make up for their loss in the Guerrero fights? Like, also the Canelo fight, the Pacquiao fight, did the profits out of those two make up for the losses in the other four? I don't know.
that Mayweather Pacquiao fight was like a $600 million fight, bro. That
Well,
was
it was, but
600. Think about it though, $600 million, bro.
was it 600 million?
Yeah,
With the gate, you mean, and all that? And I guess,
with everything, bro.
yeah.
And think about it. Think about what it did worldwide.
Yeah, like
Let's Google that right now. Mayweather Pacquiao, and see how much money that fight made. Mayweather.
well, look, I mean, just think of it. If like
It's just going to
Mex-
say they killed it.
you're right.
That's it.
Google's gonna be like, we don't count that high, you know. But no, but like here's the thing, Beeb. Like, we know it made a lot of money. I mean,
600 million in gross revenue across all revenue streams.
right? Because let me give you an example. So Mexico is a boxing country, and Mayweather and Pacquiao were well-known names there. At least 20 million people watched it, so it's very lucrative for, I'm pretty sure whoever got the rights to it had to pay at least like $800,000 to have the rights to that fight.
600 million, basically. I think that's just the United States and Canada. I don't even that's counting worldwide, bro.
That could be, because again, like, think about it. The Televisa or whoever, TV Azteca, whoever had the rights to the fight in Mexico, they had to pay for the rights. You know what I mean? Whoever had the rights to the fight in Argentina and Peru, and then you go to Africa, all the nations there. You go to Europe. Like, the UK probably had it on pay-per-view.
They're saying the McGregor fight did more than 600 million in total revenue.
Nah. Well, maybe.
That's
Could
what they're
have been.
saying.
Because of the
let me. Can I ask a question or bring something up real quick? Because
Sure.
Nobody really thinks about stuff like this, okay? Because they made that much money for that one fight, Pacquiao and Mayweather, right?
Yeah.
Man, couldn't they have done a rematch and made more? Am I right or wrong? And maybe even 3 fights. So, how much money did they pass up on? Let's count that.
In the
they sure as hell could have done a rematch. That's for sure.
In the UK, Mayweather McGregor did more than Mayweather Pacquiao in the UK.
Right. Well, same price and everything, though.
What do you mean? Like how much did the pay-per-view and all that stuff cost?
Right.
I believe it was the same price, maybe more.
I just don't think, like, here's the thing, bro. Like, I don't, like, I know how big Mayweather Pacquiao was in South America. Like, McGregor Mayweather wasn't that big in South America, or, like, you know what I mean?
Right here on ESPN, it says Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor pulled in 4.3 million domestic pay-per-view buys, 600 million in revenue. So those 2 fights alone, that's 1.2 billion. Now let's look at fucking Canelo Mayweather. That fight did a lot too.
Is it like 2.8, I think? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once everything got digital, like once you could order pay-per-views on tablets and phones, and it wasn't just on your TV type of thing. I mean, that's where the Pacquiao Mayweather thing was hot, and that's when they went on pay-per-view.
Yeah, Mayweather's fight with Canelo generated 150 million.
Yes. So, like, when you look at that, is when Mayweather fought Canelo, bro, like, nobody was watching pay-per-views like on phones and shit. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't digital back then.
It wasn't digital. So like
Two thousand. That was 2013.
that
That's a
fight,
good point.
that fight today would have probably done in the 4 million too. Like if it would happen today. I believe, dude, can you just imagine how much Tyson Holyfield would have done? Like today in their prime?
Yeah.
And we're talking 6-7 million, in my opinion.
Look at some of those Leonard fights. What would have Leonard Hagler have done? Leonard Hearns.
Oh, like yeah, because back then it was just closed circuit, right?
Yeah.
So
That's when pay-per-view they just started coming around in the 80s. They just
dude,
started,
like Hagler Hearns, like who didn't watch that fight in this country? Like that thing would have done like 10 million today.
yeah. That was crazy.
Right.
I remember watching Leonard versus Hagler on HBO, the replay the following week. That was awesome.
Right.
That fight was awesome. I love that fight. A lot of people don't like that fight. I love that fight. I loved watching Leonard like toy with him and like play with him and stuff and taunt him and shit like that. It was awesome, bro.
Well, it only lasted a couple rounds now.
I loved it.
Let me ask you this, B. Like we know about the fight now, but the Donnie Lalonde fight, like how big was that fight? Like, you know, because it was like for 2 belts and 2 divisions and all that stuff. Like, you know,
that fight was pretty big. Like Donnie Lalonde got paid like that was back in what 89, I think, or 1990. I think. What year was that fight? 89, 88, or 80? I think it was 88, 89. Donnie Lalonde got $9 million for that fight.
damn,
That was a big payday for him.
2 belts, bro.
Yeah, that fight was pretty big. Pretty big. I was kind of excited for that fight, but then I was kind of saying to myself, why are they fighting for 2 belts? I always thought that was ridiculous, man.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was so unfair to Donnie Lalonde to have him come down on 168 and have him have to defend both of his like defend his light heavyweight title at the same time as fighting for that 168-pound title. He was like he had to kill himself to make 168.
Yes.
Leonard was a very, very shrewd businessman, bro. Alexander Wilson, thank you so much. He said Holmes Cooney made 10 million each. With inflation, it would be 40 million now.
Wow.
How would that fight sell now? Oh my God, that fight would sell like bananas. That would be crazy. That fight today.
Right.
But Ray was really a shrewd guy. Like he knew when he knew that Duran was gonna balloon up in weight after the fight, and he tried to get him back in the ring like 6 months later because he knew that he had a like short period of time to peel off all that weight, and
right.
he knew Hagler, you know, was on the downside, and he instead of having 15 rounds, he made it 12. You know, he made the ring big. Like,
you know what? Tried
to always get all the advantage. He tried to always get all the advantages. Like he was such a shrewd negotiator. He was a smart negotiator.
But you know what though? Like, even though he brought it down from 15 to 12, even though he got the ring size, like even though he still got in the ring with Hagler.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like dude, like some of these dudes, like Floyd wouldn't even get in the ring with a one-legged Martinez. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Like it is what it is at the end of the day. And I think Floyd would have. You know what's crazy, dude? He would have beaten Martinez, dude. You know what I mean? If he fought him instead of Cotto at that time.
Yeah.
That would have been huge for his legacy. He would have been a champion from 130 to 160.
He could have easily, you know, been the guy instead of Cotto to win that title.
Right.
I remember when we interviewed his father on the Boxing Voice. I said the same thing to him. I said, you know, why didn't Floyd take that fight, man?
Right.
That was a winnable fight for him. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, man. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I'm gonna chill. I'm glad we have some fights. You know what I'm really excited about is next weekend we're gonna have some good fights. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
good like I'm really really happy about it. Boxing fans always find like look, let me just tell you guys right now, man. Okay,
Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it, bro.
yeah, definitely. Let me tell you guys something, man. If you don't like the fact that it's on pay per view, okay, just do what you gotta do. Like we already know what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like who are we kidding, dude? Like it's not. You're still gonna watch it, right? I know you're not gonna pay for it,
Oh,
but
I'm
I
gonna
know you're
watch
gonna.
it. I'm
No,
gonna
no, but
watch it.
yeah, we're all gonna watch it. We're
I'm a,
boxing fans.
I'm a loser.
Anyone who's watching Ringside Reporter right now is a boxing fan. Every single person. Like there isn't a person that just roams the internet and just sits down and listens to a boxing podcast if they're not a boxing fan, right? Like you guys, you're gonna watch it. Just do what you got to do. I'm just glad we got some good fights.
Yeah,
You know what I
boxing.
mean?
And you know what? I still cannot wait for that Lomachenko fight, bro. And I'm so excited that that's going to be on ESPN. That's going to be so good for
Dude, here's
both
the best
fighters.
part. Like we're gonna have a series of great fights leading to that fight.
Yes.
That month is good. PBC and ESPN stepped up hard, bro.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we're gonna have a really good October, and I'm glad, man. Like I'm just glad those fights are good, man. Those Charlo fights, like I get it, man. Like it's hard times, and even if it's not hard times, like I don't want to pay for that fight. Cool. I'm not gonna spell it out for you guys, but Beeb knows what I mean. Just do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
Just do what you got to do. Just watch it. Just enjoy the fact that we got the fight.
We're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you what to do, but we're going to just let you know. Do what you got to do.
Exactly. Just do what you got to do. That's all. That's all I'll say.
We can lead you to the water, but it's up to you if you want to drink it.
Right.
All right. All right, brother. Thanks for stopping by. It's always a pleasure
Yeah.
having you on. It's always good to get your insights on things, man. And we'll catch up. We'll catch up.
Peace.
All right. Be good.